Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Just Two Brothers podcast, where we will be sharing our journey so far and some of the simple tactics we've learned that have helped us become great leaders. Welcome back, everybody. This week, we are going to continue on our conversation from the last two episodes. Last episode, we talked about taking initiative, and this week, we're diving into taking accountability. So without further ado, enjoy the episode. So what does it mean to keep yourself on track? How do you hold yourself accountable? What does it mean to hold yourself accountable?
We're going to go back to the definition.
I was going to say, do you have the definition?
Required or expected to justify actions or decisions. So,
managing your tasks or life responsibly.
Responsibly, but being honest with where you've gotten off track, where you were not on task, and becoming aware of when you are not doing what you're supposed to be doing or what you said you were doing.
Yes, and that's all part of
that's where discipline comes into. I think discipline comes into holding yourself accountable.
That is holding yourself accountable. Having that discipline, and when you go off track, bringing it back home
to
and
have
saying,
the discipline that no matter what, this is what you're going to do, because you have to hold yourself accountable for what you said you were going to do.
Correct.
Or, whatever decision you made, whatever action or decision.
Responsibility you accepted.
Yeah. You're
going to follow through.
Owning it and following through.
Right.
What's it mean to hold yourself accountable then? You're just going to...
If you say you're going to get something done,
you're going
following
to do
through.
It regardless of anything. There's no excuses, no justifications, nothing that you can do besides this is what needs to be done, this is what's going to happen.
Right.
And if you don't do it, you have to hold yourself accountable and be real with yourself. And
okay, this is where I went wrong. This is how I went wrong. This is what I'm going to do to get back on track. This is what I'm going to do to try to help prevent myself from falling off track in the future.
It
kind
is
of the same thing as owning your mistakes.
Taking ownership of your mistakes
to yourself. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
That's all. That is, as simple as it gets.
Yep.
You're owning your
keeping
mistakes,
your promises, all of it.
You're keeping your promises to yourself.
Which they could be promises to somebody else.
But you've
internalized tasks or whatever to get said task done, and you are giving yourself the responsibility of saying, I will get these done.
Without making excuses.
Correct.
Right.
Yes. So how do you hold yourself accountable for your mistakes? It's the same as owning your mistakes.
Yes.
Being open and honest with it and saying, yep, I know I said I was going to get this done. I'm sorry, I didn't for whatever reason. Let me go get it taken care of. Well, and maybe it is something you can turn around right then and there and go get done.
Yes, and some things
I've mentioned that
can be immediate.
I've mentioned that in the past with people. If I've told them
I was going to go to HR and follow up on something that needed to be looked into, or I was going to go to the tool room and get them something that they needed. And I came back an hour later and they asked for it, and crap, nope, I didn't do it. Let me go do it right now.
Right.
Sorry, I forgot. I got sidetracked. This happened, whatever. Explain to them what happened, own it, and go get it done.
Yeah. And so, I mean,
Some things can.
it sounds like excuses sometimes, but at the same time, you forgot.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you forgot, and at least you own that shit.
Yep. And leaders tend to have busy schedules, and fires do happen.
Yeah.
Leaders tend to be firefighters.
Oh, absolutely.
And you're bouncing from one fire to the next, to the next, to
It's
the next.
It's easy to forget.
Sometimes a fire is more important than other fires, and
Right.
you have to jump in front of that one before you take care of other stuff. And so when you circle back around, you haven't had a chance yet. But if it's something you can do real quick, just go get it done. Hurry up, take that quick 5 minutes, go knock that out, check it off your list, and move on.
If you know you're not able to do it right away, make sure you at least let them know. Communicate that and say, I will do that. I have a few other things that have to be taken care of first. If you don't hear from me by such and such time, follow up with me and ask me about it, and I will get back on it.
Right.
I've done that in the past too.
Yep.
Like we've said before, you carry a notepad around
Yes.
for that reason, so you don't forget that kind of shit.
Right.
Which is something that's a lesson you've learned from making that mistake probably once or twice, probably one too many times. Forget something, you don't want to forget it. But
and to that point, with that notepad, if you have a note on there of saying you have to do such and such, and something happens, make a note of that too. That way, when you get back to that person, you have, hey, this is what happened. You can explain it to them, and you're not sitting there stuttering, trying to remember what happened and sounding like you're making up an excuse.
granted, at the end of the day, you could just say, I got busy and I forgot. Just own it as raw as possible at that point.
I've found the more you explain to people, especially your team, the more information you give them, it just helps them relate to you that much more.
Yes.
And sometimes then they understand
if you can make it brief,
the severity.
But I think if you go into too much detail, it sounds like you're making excuses. It can sound like you're making excuses, but I guess it depends on who it's coming from.
Depends on the situation, I guess.
So how do you hold yourself accountable
for your mistakes? It's the same thing. You own up to it. You're honest about it. Straightforward. This is what happened. I made a mistake. This is what I'm doing to correct it. This is how I'm moving forward. And get back on track.
Yeah. Have you ever experienced or noticed somebody that tries to be or hold themselves too accountable, in a sense? You will take blame, take responsibility for actions or things in the past or things that had happened, and it really, could you have done better on it? Yes, but was it your fault at the end of the day? No, it was kind of out of your control. If that makes sense. Because I could, for example, I'll go out and say I'm very hard on myself. I will beat myself up over decisions until I figure out what I did wrong for whatever had happened. I will hold myself 100% accountable for things that happened to me, even if it's out of my control. Now, it's something that obviously, to some extent, doesn't benefit you, but like my divorce. I went through a divorce, and there were things that I could have done better as a husband, and there were things that obviously were out of my control. You can't control somebody else's personality or anything else, and you can't force somebody else to do something, but I could go ahead and say all of the decisions and actions and everything that led up to my marriage ultimately not working out and failing was 100% my fault, because I lacked setting boundaries. I didn't stand up for certain things that I should have stood up for. I had issues and things that I did wrong. Obviously, we all have things like that. But I can take 100% accountability and say, I screwed up because I taught somebody how to treat me in a way that was not fit for how I wanted to be treated. Is that too much self accountability? If does it that what I'm saying makes sense?
Yes. I'm trying to. You asked in the context of, have I had to deal with that?
Have you noticed yourself or anybody else be what seems to be try to hold themselves too accountable for actions that they have no control over? Because obviously, like I said,
See, and
my
that's
marriage,
a multi-layered question, and that's getting deep, and I'm trying to think.
because we've
On
talked about it
that
before.
level, it's hard to see that. I've had to call people out, like, you don't need to beat yourself up for that. Like,
Right.
it's done and over with. It's a mistake. Move on from. But
it's
to
not
know,
worth beating yourself up about. But going back and understanding what you could have done better. There's every situation you can look at. What could I have done better for it?
correct.
I honestly do feel that you can look at every situation and there's something you could have done better.
Yes. But I've never analyzed other people's situations to the point of knowing everything broken down by whose fault it is.
Right. Because you don't see every side of the story, so you can't justify anything else.
I just see a problem. I see, okay, this is clearly what happened or whatever. Let's just fix it and move on.
Yeah.
So I've never dug deeper than that to know how they would beat themselves up further than that.
Okay.
But I have seen people getting too frustrated with themselves for making mistakes.
Yeah.
And at that point, I tell them, don't worry about it.
No.
Brush it off. Move on. Let's just learn from it.
Right.
Let's make sure this doesn't happen again.
We're not going to beat ourselves up about it, but we're going to realize it was a mistake and it doesn't need to happen again. And we move on.
Right. So in that aspect, yes, I have seen people take it too far with their self-accountability because they don't, but to know whether or not everything was entirely their fault, I can't say I've analyzed the situation sufficiently to answer that.
And I guess the only reason that popped in my head was because I know I will hold myself accountable.
And I think you are the only one who will ever know that.
Yeah. That's fair.
You as a general, are the only one who can be introspective enough to know that.
Right. Because you can't control every situation. So you can't explain everything. You can't. Some shit is just out of your control. You can't control how other people act, how other people react to things.
Right.
You can try to lessen their reaction.
Because I very much do that, where I look for, at home mainly, no matter what the situation, okay, what could I have done differently? Even if I 100% believe
you are in the
Tiff's action caused this misunderstanding, I'm still looking at what can I do to maybe communicate differently or better to make us not have this miscommunication in the future.
Okay.
So I'm always going at it like that too, but I'm still aware that her actions
are out of your control.
correct. There's
Right.
nothing I can do to change that. I've spoke my piece. She can do what she wants with that information now. But at the same time, I could have handled this differently.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
yeah, I wouldn't consider that being or taking too much accountability. But I
Okay.
see how you could.
I mean, yeah, you can break every situation down, but I mean, why somebody got in a car accident
Yeah,
on
but
that
I'm not
on that
going to
road?
find something I can correct that was her fault.
Right.
If
right.
that makes sense. I'm going to draw the
Yeah,
line there.
you can't correct her behavior and
Right.
her actions and situations
Right.
that she created for herself
Right.
because it was out of your control.
But maybe if I would have said this a little bit differently, she wouldn't have given the same reaction. So I guess I do the same thing. But I don't think that's being too critical because I think every situation has a lesson to be learned.
And everything, it's all
For all
dependent on the
parties.
situation. Yeah.
And maybe it's a good lesson.
No,
Maybe it's okay,
absolutely.
man, I actually did handle that the way I should have. It might be a good lesson that you learned.
Yeah.
But every situation has a lesson you can take from it. But I wouldn't consider that taking yourself or holding yourself too accountable.
Okay.
Why is it important?
To hold yourself accountable, or to
Yes.
hold, or just in general accountability, or what? Hold yourself
Holding
accountable?
yourself accountable. Why is it important to hold yourself accountable? Accountability is yet another topic, in my opinion.
I think it's important because that's your reputation with yourself. If you do not hold yourself accountable,
And much the same with owning your mistakes, it shows your integrity as well.
Yes. But if you're holding yourself accountable, that's internal. That's you yourself are holding yourself accountable for your actions, your justifications, the excuses that you want to make.
Well, and it might not even
actually done.
We don't have to. This doesn't have to be negative all the time. You can hold yourself accountable and meet deadlines, get things done on time, but that's because you've done what you needed to in order to get the tasks completed.
Right. But that's your reputation with yourself. If you say, I'm going to do this, this is going to get done by this time, this will be done to this standard, you just that's a contract with yourself,
right,
and whoever you made that with.
Right.
You're holding yourself accountable for the word, that spoken word, that agreement. That's your reputation with yourself, because I can lie to you and you don't know if it's a lie or not. Unless it's a obvious lie, or you saw me, you caught me in the act of something, or you know that I'm not being true. I can lie to you all day long, and there's no way you're going to know.
But you can't lie to me about a deadline. If something is due, if you
I can bullshit you all day long and give you excuses.
But at the end of the day, I'm still going to know it's an excuse and it's not done.
Are you, though?
It's still not done. The task is still not completed.
Correct. But there are yes, the task is not complete, but there are some things that, sometimes deadlines don't get met. Sometimes shit happens.
Right.
And there is no possible way you can meet that deadline. Now, you go back and you take ownership of why it's not going to be met, and you get on the forefront of that. You nip that in the bud real quick.
Right.
Hey, this is not going to happen by this time. This is why. This is when I think I can have it done by. And then now you got to hold yourself accountable to that next standard, but you actually took ownership of why you will not meet that deadline. You can just make excuses and let it go and throw the blame on everybody else and say, I was not given enough time. This didn't happen. This didn't happen. Somebody else did this. This was up. Somebody else screwed this up. I didn't get it until this time, or whatever. You can justify as much bullshit as you want. And some people are going to buy into your justifications, your bullshit. I know for a fact you can sit there and tell somebody this didn't get done, this is what happened, or you're late somewhere. You showed up late, you were supposed to be somewhere at a certain time. You told me you'd be there. Well, I'm late because I got stuck in traffic. You didn't get stuck in traffic. Your dumbass left late. That's your reputation with yourself.
It's also that's your reputation with other people, though. That's your integrity, though.
But they don't know that you didn't get stuck in traffic. You could have actually gotten stuck in traffic. Something could have happened.
Regardless, it's still a derogatory mark against you because you were late. It doesn't matter if you have a valid excuse or not. It's still a negative mark on you because you were late. And over time, those negative marks will add up. Therefore, that is a knock to your integrity. If you continue that
same behavior.
That's why I'm saying. So yes, it is accountability to yourself, but it still is your integrity with other people when you're not meeting those deadlines.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to. It's not just to yourself,
right? But
you're talking in it's still
accountability with yourself. How do you hold yourself accountable? Not other people.
Right.
Your self accountability is your integrity with yourself.
Yes.
I feel like we're butting heads on where.
I'm trying to think of how we got to this point now.
I feel like we're not seeing eye to eye, but we're both on the same.
You said something that made me split off that integrity.
Because I can lie to you and you don't know. And you're saying that's, I mean, you're
still not holding yourself accountable.
You're 100% breaking trust with somebody else. You're ruining your reputation with somebody else by lying to somebody. But not everybody knows that you're lying. How many people bullshit?
But that's not holding yourself accountable. Right?
Required or expected to justify actions or decisions. You can justify actions or decisions any way that you want. It depends on how you feel about yourself. I can make excuses and bullshit everybody I want. People can be manipulated enough to believe everything that I've told them until they either catch me in a lie or I've given them reasons to see that I'm just manipulating them. Unless you actually break that trust, a lot of people will give you the benefit of the doubt. You have not broken any integrity with that person until they realize that there was no integrity to begin with, if that makes sense.
I disagree.
Your self-accountability, you know at the end of the day if everything that you said was 100% true. You know if I know if I told you a lie. I know if I told people at work the truth about a situation. I know if my kids ask me a question, I can give them 100% the raw truth and be honest with them, or I can lie to them. I have to go to bed at night and be okay with the decisions I've made. That's where I see, that's holding myself accountable for my actions. If I say something that my true feelings, my identity as a person does not align with what I promised, what I said that I would do, what I said I believe in, then my self-accountability, my integrity with myself is shit.
Okay.
I am going to I will not respect the person that I am. That's my
Okay,
self-accountability.
I guess maybe I should have let you finish your statement.
Yes.
Then. Okay, now I see.
That is where I see self-accountability. That's my integrity, that's my reputation with myself. I can lie to anybody I want, but I know that I'm a liar. And that's the reputation I have.
And I guess that's where I'm getting confused, because holding yourself accountable, if you lie to somebody, you are no longer holding yourself accountable. So if you have a deadline and you don't meet that deadline and you give them an excuse as to why you didn't meet that deadline, you are therefore no longer holding yourself accountable, because you're not being truthful about why you didn't meet that. And at the same time, you are losing integrity with that person.
Absolutely.
Because even if you gave them an excuse and they're not upset about it, they're still not happy that deadline's not met.
No, but they might be. It's very easy to get people to understand or say that they understand.
But they're still not happy.
No.
They were planning on whatever X being done at that time, and it's not.
Right.
So no matter what you tell them to get them to not be as upset, that's all it is. They're not as upset.
I have actually kind of an example of this. I just ordered motorcycle parts recently. Some of the parts got shipped, they got delivered. One of the parts that was supposed to be in that shipment was not in there. I emailed the company. I said, hey, I got this, or I placed this order. Here's the order number. Here's the items that it said shipped. This item was not in there. Can you tell me what happened? They said, oh yeah, it's on back order. It'll ship out first thing next week. 2 weeks go by. I still haven't seen it. So I emailed them again. I said, hey, you said it was going to ship out early next week. I still have not seen it. Now on your website, it says it's in stock and available to ship tomorrow. What's going on? Can you give me an explanation? They responded with, sorry, we forgot to send you the tracking information. Here it is, with a link to a tracking number. Can you guess when that tracking number was created? 2 fucking minutes before they sent it to me. I can hold them accountable. Now they just lost their integrity because I know that they're lying to me. But if I didn't go and check that, if I didn't question that, I would have just gone with, they just forgot to send me the tracking number. I'll check it later. No big deal.
Yes, but they weren't holding themselves accountable.
Correct. But if I didn't look into it, I didn't think to look into it, if I just let it go, they didn't lose any integrity with me because I understood their explanation. I accepted their justification, them holding themselves accountable. I accepted that as truth.
You're not going to second guess going back to them the next time because, well, the last time I did.
If I believed it. If I believed it because you told what I felt was the truth, you told me the truth and I took that for truth. I did not check into it. I did not question that truth.
The next time you're not going to think about that twice at all.
No, if you told me the truth, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and assume that you're telling me the truth.
No,
I don't jump to immediately assuming that somebody lied to me. I don't. If you give me a reason for something, I don't just assume that you lied to me. Now, the next time you come to me and you say something, now I will question if you give me the same excuse. But if you give me a repeated pattern of the same behavior and you're going to continue to give me excuses, now I see a pattern. Now I'm going to question your integrity. I'm not going to immediately lose integrity. Nobody's going to lose integrity with me if they give me what seems like a valid reason, if I've been given no reason to not trust them. Does that make sense? If my
Yes.
kids come to me and
Yes,
say,
it makes sense.
Dad, this happened,
I
somebody
guess
got
I just
hurt,
look at things differently.
but this happened. Okay, well, just make sure it doesn't happen again, whatever. Well, it turns out I find out 3 weeks later that my kid punched somebody on the playground and that's why everything happened. Okay, now when they come to me again and say, well, this kid and I got in a fight or something and they started it. Well, I find out a week before that my kid started it in the first place. Now I don't trust him. But if your kid comes to you and says, hey, I got in a fight, but they started it, I just took care of it, I stood up for myself, I'm going to take the benefit, I'm going to take my kid's word as truth. If you're going to tell me that you just stood up for yourself, I'm going to believe you. But if you start giving me that same excuse or that same story over and over again, now I'm going to start questioning if it's true. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't lose integrity with me over the first lie if you don't get caught in that lie. So I look at it the exact same way. If I lie to you and you don't know that I lied to you, I have lost no integrity with you. I've 100%
Maybe
lost
I'm just too
integrity with
cynical
myself.
then.
Huh?
Maybe I'm just too cynical then.
Maybe. But I'm not going to... I will not jump to assuming that somebody's lying to me unless they've given me reasons or their actions prior to that make me question their motives.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So where I see holding myself, having self-accountability, I lose no integrity lying to somebody else unless I'm caught in a lie. But I would 100% lose integrity with myself.
Yeah. Okay.
And I just had a conversation with somebody recently, and it was about some pretty serious things, and some of what I said after I said it, I realized was not the entire truth. It was kind of something you'd say just off the cuff, like somebody asked you a question, here's my quick answer to it, and move on from it. But then I thought more about it and I dug deeper, like I should probably go into depth about why I said this and where I'm coming from with this, because it's not, what I said is not true to how I actually feel. It's just kind of a surface level bullshit thing. So I went back and I said, hey, I realize we had this conversation. I said some things that I don't feel I truly align with, and I want to clear those up so we are both on the same page. And that's where I feel my self-accountability comes into play, where was I true with everything that I said? What I told you is 100% what I believe in, what I feel is my truth, and I'm not making justifications or excuses for my actions. If it is the truth, I'm going to give that to you. And if I don't align with it, I will come back and I will correct that, because I have to fucking sit with that and know that I was not true. And that doesn't sit well with me anymore.
Right.
Where if I never brought that up, you just believe whatever I said. You wouldn't think to dig any deeper into what I said. You wouldn't think I said a lie. You would think I just said the truth.
Right.
So that's where I think self-accountability and others holding you accountable and your integrity with others is completely separate.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, maybe you are just too fucking cynical and you think everybody's lying to you until they're proven otherwise.
It's not that I think everybody's lying to me. I guess I just almost keep track or keep a tally.
Well, and exactly. If
so
somebody on your team comes and gives you an excuse and you know it's a bullshit excuse, yeah, I'm not going to buy it. I might,
Well, and even not a bullshit one, but I'm always like, okay, I'll
my
give
ears,
you one,
yeah, exactly.
but
my ears are perked up
next
a little bit
time,
now.
like, this ain't gonna work with me.
Right. You're going to start playing this game and think you're going to get away with it. We're going to have a problem. But if it happens once, I mean, things happen. Shit happens. You're going to be running late. You run into traffic. Some things do happen.
Right.
You can be late to things. Mistakes happen. But the same mistake multiple times, and if you're just given excuses or justifications, now I have lost faith in you. Now your integrity's online with me. That's where I will give you the benefit of the doubt the first time, unless I catch you in the lie. Whereas I'll be damned if I order anything from that company anymore. You're gonna fucking lie to me?
Right.
I'm not stupid.
Right.
There's a
See, even that though,
timestamp on your fucking
like that. If that would have happened to me to where I had to then email them 2 weeks later to get them to send me the forgotten tracking number, I would have already been done with that company. Regardless, or whether or not I found out that they lied to me.
Well, if that tracking number
if that tracking number said 4 days before, I still would have been like, you didn't even have the decency to send me the tracking number. I had to go out of my way to get it from you. I wouldn't go back to that company anyways.
Granted, mistakes get made. And it's not only one person. I mean, the person that sent me the email the first time was not the same person that sent me the email the second time. It's customer service. So you're not always going to get the exact same person. You're not always going to get the same follow-up. Granted, yes, that looks bad on the whole company.
Yeah, so what are they going to do to keep my business?
They could have given me a tracking number, and yep, they dropped the ball on sending that.
What are you doing to fix it? You don't want to fix it? Then I don't want to do business with you.
That's where I was at. Like, when I emailed you and said, where are we at with this? All they needed to do was say, we messed up. We forgot about this. Here's a tracking number. We'll overnight it to you at no cost to you. And here's a 10% off coupon or something.
Right.
Just something. Own it.
Exactly.
And fucking own it.
Right.
Because now you lost my fucking business.
Right.
And I just spent probably $2,000 at that company. I'll be damned if I give you another $2,000. I'll send it to somebody else that's going to actually tell me the truth.
Right.
Just fucking tell me that you screwed up. I don't want your excuses. I don't want your bullshit. If it's justified, I'll hear you out. But you're going to fucking get caught if you're going to lie to me. Especially there's timestamps.
Yeah, I know.
Shit.
That one's...
How
surprises
stupid
me.
do you think I am? You send me a tracking number and say you forgot to send me a tracking number. I'm going to check to see the status of my order now. I want to see if I'm going to have it tomorrow, because if you shipped it out a week ago, I should have had it by now.
Right.
So don't fucking lie to me.
Oh.
And that's where I can see I'm not going to give them another chance. You just lied to me. I know you lied to me.
And they didn't even try that hard. That's the other...
Exactly. You don't get another chance because you just blatantly lied to me. Just tell me you guys forgot. We made a mistake. I'm okay with that. I make mistakes. But you just lied to me, and now I don't trust you at all. I will never trust you again.
Yep. Yeah.
But that's them taking ownership and them being accountable. Now, if you're not going to take accountability for the decision that you guys made to lie to me,
right,
that's on you.
Right. Or, own their mistake.
Now, holding them accountable, I can send an email and bitch up a storm, but what's it going to do?
Right.
I'm just not going to spend my money with them.
Right.
They will no longer get my business, and that's me holding a business accountable.
Yep.
I'm going to get what I purchased when I paid for it and when you guys told me it would be here. And if you're going to lie to me, I will no longer take my business elsewhere. That's me holding you accountable. You give me the goods or services I paid for, how I asked for them, when I asked for them, and if there's a valid reason, I can hear you out the first time. But it will not happen again. And if it does happen again, then there's going to be some way that we're going to move on from it.
Yeah, that's
Either
the point where you draw
I
the
mean,
line.
if it's somebody that you work with or whatever, or kid, some sort of a punishment, or however you deal with the situation. Or if it's a business, you fucking don't give them your business anymore.
Yep.
Simple as that. You lost a customer because you guys wanted to lie to me. What, I guess there any
So why is self-accountability important? Why is holding yourself accountable important? To maintain your personal integrity.
that to me is it. It's to maintain your personal integrity. Discipline helps because if you're disciplined, you're just going to do the same thing every time. You're always going to be true with your
I
word.
think discipline
You're always going to
is self-accountability.
Discipline is doing something regardless of how you feel.
Yeah, and that's going to go kind of hand in hand with holding
Self-accountability
yourself
is
accountable.
Telling yourself, I'm just making excuses. I need to get this done anyways.
Or just getting it done. It doesn't have to be a negative thing all the time. It can just be sticking.
But accountability is the act of justifying your actions or decisions. So it's not the same thing as discipline because discipline is
I guess
discipline
I
is
disagree
doing
with
it.
that.
That's the
Okay.
definition.
I get it, but holding yourself, that's the definition of accountable, but holding yourself accountable by me getting up in the morning and going through my routine, I'm holding myself accountable to get those things done every day. I'm saying I'm going to get up, go through my morning routine every day, and I'm holding myself accountable for that.
Yes. But discipline is what keeps that structure going regardless.
Correct. That's why they go hand in hand. That's what I'm saying. They go hand in hand.
Self-accountability, yeah, they do. Self-accountability is when you stray from your disciplines.
Yes,
you
course correct.
It's course
Yes.
correcting.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where it just course corrects you to your back on track with your disciplines.
I guess, yeah. Because I guess if I don't want to get up in the morning, telling myself, nope, I have to, that's holding myself accountable,
you can say,
course correcting.
I stayed up late last
course
night.
correcting
Tonight's okay today's okay to sleep in because I stayed up late last night doing this. That's having a lack of.
But saying, nope, I'm getting my ass up, that's holding myself accountable.
No.
Because I said I'm going to get up and do it, so I'm going to get up and do it.
Holding yourself accountable is not allowing yourself to make excuses. Discipline is the act of doing it. Holding yourself accountable is the act of refusing to make excuses for your actions or decisions.
Okay.
You can 100% just own it and say, yes, I was being lazy today. I did not get up today. I did not do my workout because I chose to be lazy.
That's still holding yourself accountable.
You're holding yourself accountable. You're not justifying or giving excuses for your actions. You are owning it. You're taking accountability for it. And you're not lying to yourself about why you didn't do that. Your discipline should keep you on track with what you're doing, but holding yourself accountable is looking back and saying, yes, I had my disciplines, but I kind of fell off track here. Here's how I can course correct it, and here's where I went wrong.
Okay.
That's where I see the difference there.
Okay, I can understand that. Makes sense.
Because disciplines are just, beat into you, whether it's parents, military, your own, yourself you're holding yourself accountable to keeping those disciplines going. But people don't have to have any of that. You can be very undisciplined and not hold yourself accountable for anything.
Well, let's go through some tips to help hold you accountable. So what are some different things that we can do to hold ourselves accountable?
What do you have? Because I feel like I've been doing a lot of talking. I kind of want to hear from you. So what are some things?
I've actually enjoyed listening to you for a change instead of myself. You can ask for feedback. Ask people how you've performed or how they think you've done.
Yeah. And I mean, that goes back, that's another way of taking initiative too.
Let them know where you need to improve and how you can get better.
And it's all an act of taking initiative too.
Yeah. Get somebody who can help hold you accountable or that you can converse with to. Sometimes it helps to talk through things and can help you get that little bit more introspective on yourself when you're talking through a problem.
Right.
And then on top of that, if you work with somebody and tell them, hey, I said I'm going to do this, this, and this, they can help then turn around and say, hey, did you get X, Y, and Z done?
Yeah.
And aid in holding you accountable. Take care of yourself. If you get burned out, you're going to fall short. Stay in shape, stay healthy, get rest. It's all going to help aid your mind and body to be able to do the things you need to do when you need to do them. If you don't have the energy, you won't be able to perform at your best.
And you can justify the hell out of not taking time for yourself too.
Right. Yeah, so that in and of itself, got to be accountable for taking care of yourself.
For when you need to take a break and knowing when you need to step back, or you bit off more than you could chew.
Another thing you can do is just to recognize when you're being lazy and procrastinating and putting shit off. I'll do it tomorrow. Like that fucking curtain holder.
You know what's funny? I got a fucking picture sent to me of that curtain holder.
I know. I think the day after the episode came out, or the day the episode came out.
I got a text from Tiff saying, I am laughing so hard right now at Ryan. He's such a dumbass. And then sends me a picture of the curtain holders.
Yep, that's me. Still sitting there. Still haven't done them. Don't procrastinate. Recognize when you are and just knock it out.
So procrastination, not to get off topic, but because we talked 2 weeks ago, when did the episode, we put out the episode on time management.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
I told you I was going to start my priority list, doing the whole pickle jar.
Yeah.
It's actually worked out pretty damn well. All the dumb shit that can pop in my head, like, oh, I gotta check my bank account and everything like that. Just the dumb stuff that you end up
The
finding,
filler.
It pops in your head and you just want to do it because you think it's important. If I just write it down, like, check bank account, that's a distraction. And I have my list here. No, it's on a different one. But yeah, I have a list of distractions written down. I have a list of my priorities in order. Not in order. I write down all the main priorities for the day. Then I put them in I just number them in the order that's the priority. Put all the side stuff the little filler stuff, and then distractions. And it has worked wonders.
Really?
I can just write it down. I don't forget my thoughts, the little things that do need to be looked at, but it can be done later.
Right.
I'd find I'm not. You don't pick up your phone to quick look at your bank account and then 15 minutes later realize you've scrolled through social media
Right.
and done nothing productive, or
Yeah, I can see that.
start searching for something online because, oh, I got to look into this. I needed this. And then you end up down a rabbit hole of dumb shit that you shouldn't have been doing in the first place.
Right.
It's worked pretty well. So that, yeah, not procrastinating and just getting tasks done when they need to get done, and keeping a list and keeping track of things and prioritizing the order of them, it seems to help.
Interesting. So that's help you recognize and course correct.
Yeah.
That has.
And I'm held accountable to, well, I said I could get all this stuff done today. This is my, did I actually get anything on my list done, or did I just get distractions and shit done?
Yes, and that leads nicely into the next one of set both long-term goals and some shorter-term goals. You should have both you're going after. Have those 1, 3, 5-year goals.
Whether that's business related, personal fitness and health related, relationship related,
All of it.
all of them.
Yeah.
You should be planning 10 years down the road. Where do you want to be?
Right.
Where do you want to be financially? Where do you want to be in your relationships?
Right.
Where do you want to be in your marriage? Where do you want to be in your career?
Right.
If you're not looking down the road and knowing where you want to be, what do you have to build towards?
Exactly.
Nothing. So you just get complacent.
And then also have your projects day to day that you're working on too and picking away at. Working on yourself to be a better person, on your house, on your kids.
And if you don't, if you set goals and you don't meet them, be honest with why you didn't meet them.
Yeah.
If you chose to be lazy for a day, fucking own it.
Yep.
Just say you chose to be you were lazy today. It happens. It's okay.
Yeah, and you can either choose to be okay with it, realize that you might need that. Maybe that's part of your self-care. Maybe you needed a day to relax. Or those I was lazy, all those lazies start to stack up. And then one day you look and go, holy shit, I got a basket full of I've been lazy days sitting here. I might want to do something with myself.
You know what's funny? I just had this conversation with your wife. She texted, your wife and I talk. You know we talk quite often. She reached out to me, or I texted her just checking in, seeing how things are going, and we were talking, and she said she was having a hard time because she notices she sleeps in more and you get up early, and she was feeling bad about it. I said, Tiff, you have two options. One, you know how you feel about it. You know you don't like it. You think it's a problem. You can either just accept the fact that you want to sleep in and be okay with that because you're choosing to sleep in. That's okay. If that's what you want to do, that is okay. If it's a problem and you have an issue with it, you can change it. Those are your two options.
Right.
You're well aware of the issue at hand. You see what's bothering you. Why does it bother you? Bothers you because you see somebody else doing it, but is it something you care about? If it's not something you care about, just fucking sleep in.
Right.
That's okay.
Right.
But if you care about it, then you got to make small steps every single day to waking up when you want to. You're going to sleep in. You're going to hit the fucking snooze button once. That's okay.
Right.
But make progress towards being better. I got a text. Thanks, Joe. That's it. Yeah, sometimes you just need to fucking hear it, though. It's
Right.
okay
Right.
to have lazy days. It's okay to do whatever you want to do as long as you're not giving yourself bullshit excuses as to why you did them. Just own it.
Yeah.
Make a decision. Just own
And
that fucking decision.
be okay with your decision, or don't be.
Because you're the one that fucking made
Yeah.
it.
Or don't be. And make a different decision the next day.
So if you're not okay with the decision you made, why did you make a decision that you weren't going to be okay with in the first place? That's your fault. That's your mistake. You have to be aware of that and accept it.
And only you can change it.
Right.
Last one I've got is to just stay organized. We mentioned calendars, notebooks, lists, the pickle jar. There's all kinds of different ways to help you stay organized. And that's going to help you. All of that is going to help you hold yourself accountable. So there's 6 different ways?
Yeah.
To hold yourself accountable?
And it's just, if you truly care about yourself, if you love the person that you are, you should value that relationship with yourself.
Yes.
Your self accountability should be your top priority every single day. Are you accountable for your actions? Are you showing up for yourself the way that you should be showing up?
Something I know I need to pay more attention to. Don't focus on it enough.
Self accountability?
Yeah. With certain things.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to try to forget about certain things just because I don't want to deal with that one right now.
Curtain holders.
Yeah. But you don't make excuses for it. You know you're putting it off. You know it's out of sight, out of mind. You don't.
It's in the bedroom on the frickin' dresser on behind something, or I don't even know. It's somewhere up there.
You know
I
it's
just don't
there,
ever think
but
about it.
You don't think about it.
No,
You're
I
not
never
making
think
excuses.
about it.
You're not making excuses.
I never
though.
think about it until we're sitting here, an hour and a half away. Legit, I don't ever think about it. Or she'll remind me at 7 o'clock in the morning, like, yeah, I'm on my way to work. I can't. There's nothing I'm going to do right now.
Well, I'm going to hold you accountable then, and by
You're my accountability partner.
Let's say this week Friday, I expect a picture of those curtain holders on our page.
Are you going to text me and remind me? Because that's probably the only way I'm going to remember.
Now, anybody that listens to this podcast can hold you accountable for your post not being up on the 22nd of your fucking curtain holders.
Oh, man.
You're welcome, Tiff. I love you.
We'll see if this happens yet. Guarantee I'm not going to remember when I get home tomorrow.
Oh, I got
Plus,
you.
it's Sunday and football's going to be on. I got football to watch. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah. It'll be done by Friday.
Oh.
I'm holding you to it.
All right. So, do we have anything else? We have talked about a lot. Owning your mistakes, holding yourself accountable,
And taking initiative. They all tie into, and they all tie together.
They all do. They're all similar. They're not the same, but they all work together. Given quite a few tips. Watch social media. We've been putting out a lot of different posts with tips, tricks, things to help go along with what we've been talking about. So be sure to follow us on Instagram, social media, Just Two Brothers Podcast. If there's something that particularly stuck out to you, make sure to share it with somebody. We're on every major podcast streaming platform, so there's bound to be one that they're on. Send them a link and
Share away.
yeah, let them hear what we've got to say. Got anything else, Joe?
No, I think that's it. Hold yourself accountable and take ownership for your actions. Take initiative. And watch how your life improves.
Yeah.
Truly. You sit down and stop justifying your actions, stop making excuses for your shit, and you hold yourself accountable. Watch how things change around you.
Yeah, that depression you think you're in, it'll go away. Just got to get up.
Dude, that, without a doubt, take a good look at your situation and what you're making excuses for.
Yep.
You will be surprised how much you can change your life, change your attitude, change your mentality, change the mentality of those around you by setting an example. And you hold yourself accountable, other people are going to do the same. They're going to hold themselves accountable
Right.
because they see you doing
you're
better.
leading by example. And all of this is building respect. You're still working on building those teams.
And breaking any of what we've talked about, doing the exact opposite is you lose respect and you're not going to get that back.
Right.
Especially when it comes to integrity. You lie to somebody and they catch you lying, you're done for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of our 4 pillars, respect is probably the biggest. And I mean that
It's the foundation of everything. If you don't have respect and you cannot trust 100% of those around you,
if you don't have a team around you,
you're done for.
Yep.
That goes for, in the workplace, in relationships. If you don't build that trust and there is not that accountability, self accountability, and like you said, having somebody else around you that holds you accountable in a relationship, that's huge.
if you don't have that warrior next to you,
somebody that's going to say, hey, this is
going to be a tough life if you don't have a warrior.
This does not line up with what we
Right.
both agreed on. Let's go back and actually figure this out, or we don't align and we need to move on.
Yep.
And you need people in your corner like that. Yeah,
All right.
I think that sums it up. Thanks for listening, everybody. We hope you enjoyed.
Yeah. Have a good week. We'll see you later.